How's it going, everybody? And welcome to the last bastion of sanity on this portion of the internet, The Last Vox. My name is Matt. And thank God it's just me. I don't have anybody breaking in here trying to do an intro. It has been a very interesting day. It has been a very fun day. It has been a day. So before we get started into this very interesting day, and a lot of weird things that we're going to be talking about that is internet insanity, let's say hello to the people who are in the chat. There's not many here right now, but that's fine. They're the early bird specials of The Last Vox. I appreciate every single one of you, especially for Zaw for waiting around for hours when I first posted this up. So Steve, look, from what I have, Steve was first, but I'm pretty sure Zaw was first. Ben C is here. Ishtar is here. How's it going, darling? Yes, everyone is here before Mitzi. That's actually a first. Ray is here. How's it going, Ray? Zaw asks if I have a job that I should be doing now. I am doing it. I'm doing it right now. Sparky, how's it going? Say hello to Captain Hook for me. And how is everyone? It's good to see you all. Good to see y'all. So, this last week has been Thanksgiving week is kind of family oriented, and unfortunately I don't have my family near me. My family consists of my brother, his fiance, and his soon-to-be 2 children. And they are very, very far away. So I got to experience an early Thanksgiving last weekend, which was with Ishtar's family, and it was really nice. And, well, unfortunately, I caught a bit of a bug. You see, one of Ishtar's little nieces and nephews was apparently stricken with the plague and decided to pass it on to me. So one night I'm feeling absolutely fine and dandy, nothing wrong with me, and then the next day, later that night, I feel like I got a hurl. I haven't thrown up in years, and I don't like it. I don't think anybody likes it. And got struck with a really hard fever really quickly, the shakes, the whole thing. And I just felt like shit for most of the week. The major part of it was over and done with really quickly, a couple days. And then Ishtar got hit with it. And she was lucky enough to get hit with the major part of it during Thanksgiving Day. So luckily we were off, and she got to sleep most of the day away and just kind of relax and have fun. Well, have fun, as much fun as you can have while being sick as a dog. So I am glad she's over that for the most part. I'm glad I'm over that for the most part. So I wasn't able to do my normal things. I really wish I could have, because there was a lot of fun stuff that happened this week, going through Twitter and everything like that. How's it going, Jacob? Going through Twitter, going through Facebook ads, all of the fun stuff that everybody's been talking about. Well, I grabbed a few things, and we're just gonna... I actually had to make an alcoholic beverage to get through all of these things. So I am drinking Captain Morgan's not coconut rum, Captain Morgan's Cannon Blast rum, which is a citrus rum, which is really good, mixed with some fresh oranges and Fanta. So, no, as for why okay, for those of you who don't know, Sparky does this thing called Anime Watch Club. And for the last month, I guess you could say, this show called Has Been Hotel has been everywhere on Twitter. The characters are actually really stylized, but they're kind of Invader Zim-esque. They are all basically really... they're demons and things like that. Sparky did a review of that yesterday. Now, when he asked me to join him, I was in the process of making Ishtar and I's Thanksgiving dinner. So the turkey took 3.5 hours. It was just a turkey breast. It was really good, very tasty. There are pictures of it in my Discord. But dinner took a lot longer to cook than we had expected. I was basically doing things up until the point that the turkey came out. And it was very delicious, and unfortunately I missed Sparky's Has-Been Hotel Anime Watch Club. But that's fine. It's there. Click his name. Watch it after you're done watching this. Give him some follows. Give him some likes. Sparky's a pretty good dude. So that was, I was going to get to that. That was, since we were basically both still sick on Thanksgiving Day. We had our Thanksgiving this weekend, and it was just small. You know, there's corn on the cob, mashed potatoes, homemade biscuits. How's it going, Red Feather? We didn't get a full turkey. We just got turkey breast that was done. We got to use our brand new roaster for the first time, which was really fun. And Ishtar made deviled eggs for the very first time successfully. She even looked up how to crack an egg, peel a hard-boiled egg in 10 seconds without, destroying the egg. And they're really good. They were really good. So if you don't like deviled eggs, I'm sorry. It's okay for you to have a wrong opinion. Yeah, we ate a little bit too much, Red Feather. Ishtar actually was very upset that she had eaten too much because she was so full. She wanted more. And that's very, very rare for her. And you know what? I forgot to start the music, so we're going to go ahead and start that real quick with that. Sorry, guys. Well, see, Red Feather, you are okay to be wrong about hating mustard, but there are deviled eggs that don't use mustard, so you can still have them. But our little Thanksgiving was actually really good. So that's all that matters, right? And then I realized that today was Sunday. And I had collected a few things over the week that just kind of make you go, what? And the first one comes from the New York Post. I'm not even gonna ease you guys into this one. Okay? We're just gonna go in balls deep. We're going to shine some light on the taint of this situation, and we are just going to explore every crevice that you could possibly show to the sun. Think I'm lying? Perineum sunning, that's the taint, is latest insanity wellness influencers swear by. This comes from the New York Post. Now, I've done some New York Post articles before, and they have been a little interesting. How's it going, Cuttlefish? This is... I don't quite know how to deal with this. But we're gonna... Yeah, they want you to sun your taint, your asshole, and all of your bits. So let's get into this. This is degeneracy, Zeo Gold. Absolute, utter degeneracy. Ray, I agree. Where other people install their solar panels is no business of ours. If they want to put them there, they can put them there. More power to them. I understand that they are trying to save the environment. So, they're soaking up some rays where the sun don't shine. Well, if they're soaking up rays, that's not necessarily wrong. The hottest trend, they should put that in quotes, hottest trend, gripping wellness diehards is tanning their cans, or perineum sunning, as influencers are calling it, because influencers don't want to call it asshole sunning, because then people like Hillary Clinton can't actually, take their husbands out for a walk. In a mere 30 seconds of sunlight on your butthole, you will receive more energy from this electric node than you would in an entire day being outside with your clothes on. Says an influencer who goes by Raw of Earth. In a viral video that has racked up more than 35,000 views. No, Mr. Cuttlefish, it's not bullshit. It's human shit. And they want it bleached. He gestures towards the sun as 3 naked men lie down, point their backsides to the sky, and make sounds of pleasure. There are many things that you want to have happen. Many, many things that you want to have happen. 3 dudes with their taint pointed sunward and moaning in pleasure is not one of them. Raw of Earth has also posted a step-by-step sun worshipper exercise pulled from the Tao of Sexology, the Book of Infinite Wisdom, by Dr. Stephen T. Chang, that says this practice can help keep the area healthy and germ-free. This whole germ-free, it's your asshole. There's no possible way you're going to keep your butthole germ-free. At all. Even if you scrub it with a Brillo pad and wash it down with bleach, this is probably not the best way to keep it germ-free. Sparky says, I said I was broadcasting in a Mexican restaurant. I have 6 people looking at me when you said that. Thank you. You are very welcome, Sparky. I do what I can to help. I hope you guys are enjoying. Now, I will agree sunlight is the best disinfectant for most things, but even anal bleaching after there is a thing called swamp ass for a reason. It's not something... there are always going to be germs there. You're never going to get rid of them. God is really fucked up in the way he designed our stuff because he designed an amusement park next to a septic waste dump. Let's see. Chang and the Raw of Earth aren't the only ones either. Other influencers appear to be just as inspired to catch some ultraviolet rays. 30 seconds of direct sunlight injection to the anal orifice is equivalent to being outside in the sun all day, said idiot influencer Troy Casey. Yeah, influencers. One Californian, and we'll get to more California stuff in a bit, one California claims butt-chugging vitamin D not only helps her sleep better, but helps to regulate her hormones. The term butt-chugging and regulation of hormones are not 2 things that deserve to be in the same sentence together. I don't know. Get yourself a fucking suppository. Why do you have to butt-chug vitamin D? Do you get an orange juice enema? What happens if you're out of orange juice? Do you go to the Fanta section? No. You don't go to Fanta because the carbonation is bad for you. They go for Sunny D. Alright, that's what they do. They go for Sunny D. They go for the expensive stuff. Oh God. I know coffee enemas are a thing. But enemas kind of say that what you're putting up there is coming out. Butt chugging, on the other hand, says that you're basically drinking it through your asshole. Ray says butt chugging is when you ingest alcohol through your rectum. I knew that, unfortunately. So what you're saying is they're drinking fuzzy navels. So they're putting fuzzy navels in their asshole to try and get their... and then showing it to the sunlight. People are weird, man. For the past few weeks, I have included sunning my butt and yoni into my daily rising routine. Okay, so this is a girl. She's calling her pookie. She's calling her vag a yoni. I guess because it yawns open when she puts it up to the sun and spreads her legs. I don't fucking know. These people are goddamn weird. A woman who goes by Metaphysical Megan captions an image. Metaphysical Megan. Of herself fully naked on a rock. Megan says she first learned about perineum sunning through her study of Taoism and has recently given up her morning cup of coffee in favor of sunning her anus. I don't even know what you do with this. Oh, thank God it's safe for work. At least she's not at least it's not Tess Holiday doing it, okay? Because that's not necessarily sunning her perineum, that's a full moon. The phenomenon caught the wider internet's attention after one Twitter user posted Megan's photo and a caption to the tune of more than 84,000 likes. Fuck you, Sparky. Okay, even A-listers are sunning their butts. Big Little Lies actress Shailene Woodley, who is known for her holistic lifestyle that doesn't even include a TV, has admitted she also practiced a version of taint sunning. Another thing I like to do is give my vagina a little vitamin D. She told Into the Gloss in 2014. I was reading an article written by a herbalist I studied about yeast infections and other genital issues. Putting Sunny D and orange juice up your butt is probably not going to help your yeast infection. She said there's nothing better than vitamin D. If you're feeling depleted, go in the sun for an hour and see how much energy you get. Or if you live in a place that has heavy winters, when the sun finally comes out, spread your legs and get some sunshine. Oh, don't. No. Ishtar, what are you doing? Alright, she says it's related to my current article, so I'm going to close the window. Oh, Ishtar. Alright, Ish, I'll get to that in a sec. Oh, God. I'll get to that in a second. This is not a troll. This is not a troll, people. This is 100% serial. Okay. However, medical professionals are far from convinced the practice has any merit. There's no evidence that sunbathing in this way has any effect on physical well-being, Dr. Diana Gall of UK-based online doctor service Doctor4U tells Insider. Yes, she's throwing gas on the fire. Yes, practicing mindfulness and meditation and getting your dose of vitamin D is beneficial for mental and physical health, but you don't need to damage your skin in the process from sun exposure. Gall suggests that there are different and safer ways to practice mindfulness and adds that there are no extra benefits of doing this naked in the sun. While influencers are currently letting sunshine in their back door, the Federal Trade Commission is having little luck convincing them to shed more light on product endorsement. Okay, so this is what Ishtar gave me. Avengers Endgame star Josh Brolin warns of the dangers of excessive taint sunning. What? I can't with this. I can't. Oh, I'm sure they use sunscreen, but not in the way you think, Red Feather. Josh Brolin is best known these days for playing Thanos in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, as well as Cable in Deadpool 2. But he's also got a great sense of humor. The actor often posts fun content on social media, making fans and fellow celebrities chuckle with his shenanigans. Oh! No, I don't want to deal with getting sunburnt and peeling on your taint. That's gotta be uncomfortable. Brolin's latest post is no exception, as it warns peoples of the dangers of perineum sunning, also known as butthole sunning. According to Health.com, this odd new trend has started to gain momentum, as we have talked about before, because of a few social media influencers. Brolin took to Twitter to share a photo of his own. This is what he said. Tried this perineum sunning that I've been hearing about, and my suggestion is do not do it as long as I did. My pucker hole is crazy burned, and I was going to spend the day shopping with my family, and instead I'm icing and using aloe and burn creams because of the severity of the pain. I don't know who the fuck thought of this stupid shit, but fuck you nonetheless. Seriously. Hashtag Black Hole Friday. Hashtag Black Hole Sun. Hashtag severe perineum burns. Hashtag Santa Monica Fire Department. Hashtag asshole cream. No. I don't think he actually did it, Cuttlefish. I think he's just making fun of people. But that's actually pretty good. Yeah. Some of the comments were from other celebrities. Johnny Knoxville added, "Tain't that a shame?" Oh god, this is just bad. So yeah, sunburning your asshole is apparently a thing. Oh god. Ray said, yes, that really came back to bite him in the ass. Ray says, hello, 911. Thanos from the movies is mooning me. Yes, Thanos. Or if you like Cable from Deadpool 2. Really, yeah, the older brother from Goonies. Yes, full moon. Yes, that is actually where they usually get stitches after birth. It's not fun for them. I know this because I have been with my ex-wife, who I was in the delivery room with it, and yeah, she had to, it tore. She was not happy about that. But she's doing better now. How's it going, Killing Joke? Alright, do we want to get on to some more fun things that the higher upper echelons try and do? Well, this one's a little bit more political. And apparently we're causing Zeo Gold to invest in some mind bleach. And how's it going, Wikipedia snippet? It says, and poor unfortunate women in the third world are stuck with the fistula. Alright, there we go. You know, okay, so the joke going around for the longest time was Bill Clinton smoked pot. Big fucking deal, right? You know, him saying, I put it to my lips, but I didn't inhale. We all know fucking George W. was on something for most of his presidency. I haven't revealed it yet, Ben. But we are talking about something serious. Now, Marion Barry got arrested for heroin, and then after his jail sentence, he came back and got reelected. New York's a weird place. DC is a little bit weirder. Hunter Biden accused of smoking crack in VIP strip club near the White House. You can't go worse than crack. At least I don't think you can go worse than crack. I mean, that's a bit much, right? Yeah, we all know what Bill Clinton does with cigars. Well, you could always leave, Steve. But let's they wanted to do an investigation on no, it wasn't a pizza club, but I caught that reference, Red Feather. Hunter Biden, the son of former Vice President Joe Biden and current Democratic incumbent, has been accused of smoking an illegal drug in the VIP room of a Washington, D.C. strip club last year. How's it going, Wolvania? You're just in time to hear about Hunter Biden smoking crack. You missed the perineum sunning, though. And me embarrassing Sparky in a Mexican restaurant. Hunter Biden, 49, frequented the Archibald's Gentleman Club in Washington, according to numerous workers at the establishment interviewed by the New York Post. Biden spent thousands of dollars at the club over numerous visits while he sat on the board of Burisma, a Ukrainian energy company. They claim he used credit cards that did not have his name on it. PCP is only worse than crack if you're trying to be stopped by a cop with a taser. Let's be fair. Biden would usually go to the club's VIP room to drink, and Archibald's staff never had an issue with him, according to security worker Ranko Petrovic. Former Archibald's managing partner James Ritter said that in one instance, employees suspected that Biden smoked crack in the VIP room. There was the smell of burning styrofoam in the VIP room. We told him nothing illegal can go on here. We didn't see anything illegal after he was spoken to. The smell stopped. Meth is pretty bad, but meth also makes you do like fucking carpentry at 3 o'clock in the morning. You look at a clock, you look at a grandfather clock and go, you know what? I think the second is off by 1. I'm going to take it all apart and fix it. I do not know from personal experience. Just putting that out there. Now, okay, I've never been around someone who smoked crack, so I don't know. Any of you guys in the chat know if it smells like burning styrofoam? I mean, I'm assuming they would know. It's a bunch of strippers. I'm sure they've been around their fair share of illegal substances, and I love the whole, we don't do anything illegal in the VIP rooms. If it's over a certain amount, it doesn't end up being illegal anymore. But VIP employees suspected it was crack, Ritter said. If so, it would have been his most recent known usage of an illegal substance. Oh God. Steve brought something up. I had someone do mushrooms while at work. And, it's a funny story. So, I was staying with them at the time, and I'm not a big person of drug use. The most, I guess you could say, substance I would abuse is alcohol. I drink every once in a while. They were stoners. I was staying with 4 other people, and they were, goddamn were they stoners. Now, on top of the fact that they were stoners, they owned like 4 cats. They didn't like cleaning the litter box, so instead, what they did with the litter box, and I'll get to the rest of the story in a second. What they did with the litter box is very simple. They never cleaned it. They just bought more litter and put it on top of it. When I saw the litter box, it was in like one of those big fucking tubs, and it was see-through. This thing was about 1.5 feet tall. And when I said, why don't you clean it? They said, we don't want to. We just put more litter on it. When it's full, we just throw the whole thing out. My sentiments exactly. Ew. I never went near it. I stayed in my room and had lots of Lysol. Lots and lots and lots of Lysol. Anyway, when I say they were stoners, I mean they did a multitude of drugs, but mainly it was the easier stuff. There was some cocaine use. There was a lot of pot. And of course, they were all smokers. But they decided that they were going to do mushrooms. And, oh God, his name was Eric. He was a coworker of mine. And they had a little bit of mushrooms left over from the day before, and he said, should I do these before work? And I flat out said, that's a bad idea. He said, all right, I'll think about it. So I had to go in work earlier than him. So I go in. He gets there. And I'm a delivery driver at a pizza place. I worked at Round Table. And he comes in. And he goes, Matt? I said, yeah, Eric, what's up? I want to warn you now. I said, you took the mushrooms, didn't you? He just shook his head. I said, okay. So I go about my business. Yeah, I go about my business. I start working. I go, and he starts working. We had an assistant manager that was training to become a manager there. I cannot remember her name for the life of me. But I can tell you how she looked. Actually, I can look it up. Give me just a second. I just need images. There we go. That's a good picture. Not a good picture because it's not a big picture. Hold on a second, guys. Just a second. It will help. It will help with the story. Trust me. It is worth the wait. Oh shit! Where did you go? There you are. All right. So, like I said, I can't remember her name. But I can tell you a good chance of what she looked like. Now, she wasn't as bad as this, but she was close. Does anybody remember the gentleman from Buffy the Vampire Slayer? You do now, because they're on screen. She looked like one of them, with normal hair. So imagine being tripping on shrooms and being in the dishwasher. Okay? He was the dishwasher. One of the gentlemen, our assistant manager, walked up to him, turned him around, and then got centimeters from his face and told him he is washing the dishes wrong. I get back from a delivery and I see him cowering. Why are you calling me during my show, you son of a bitch? I see him cowering in the dishwashing room. No dishes are being done. Nothing is being cleaned. I am the last delivery driver, and there is one of the gentlemen in her office bitching. So I go in there and I say, what's wrong? And she tells me that he's doing the dishes wrong, and now he's flat out refused to do anything. So I go in there, and I have to crouch because he's almost underneath the industrial dishwasher that is pumping out 120 degrees of heat and steam. And I'm like, Eric, dude, what's going on? And he straight out said that she wants to, the assistant manager wants to steal his tongue. And I just stood there and looked at him and told him to go, come on. You know, I grabbed him by the hand. Come on, she's not going to eat you. And I sat him down out in the lobby. so he could come down from his massively bad trip. And then proceeded to take out one more delivery and do the rest of the goddamn dishes. I was there until 2 fucking a.m. in the morning. I was not a happy person when I got home. Needless to say, he slept it off. Okay? He slept it off. I wake up the next morning at 10 o'clock. And he's out there watching Tropic Thunder. Stoned off his fucking ass again. Only this time it was pot. And I go get some food. Go sit down next to him. And just go, have a bad trip? He said, yeah, I'm better now. I said, you ever going to do that again? He goes, probably not. I said, good. Because if you ever come into work again, and you are high on shrooms, I'm going to break your nose. And the only thing he could do is look at me and go, that would be justified. Don't do shrooms, kids. How's it going, damn alien? Yeah, I was not a happy camper. But that, I mean, let's stop talking about me and get back to Hunter Biden. I am not as important as Hunter Biden is. I'm glad you enjoyed the story. It's true. It's all true. It happened to me when I was younger. It's just, yeah, don't do shrooms before you're going to go to work. Who does shrooms more than once? Someone who has not been punched in the nose by me. Alright. Where were we? Okay. Biden has a long documented history of using illegal drugs, such as cocaine. Of course he does. Cocaine is a rich people's drug. It's very expensive and it keeps them going all night. He also has struggled with alcohol addiction, and by his own admission. He detailed his history of problems with drugs and alcohol in July, about a month after his 77-year-old father jumped into the 2020 Democratic presidential primary. I want to run that by you guys. Joe Biden. Creepy Uncle Joe. Kid hair smelling Joe. Kissing the fingers of the person who's introducing him Joe. Jaw falling apart Joe. Bloody eye Joe is 77 years old. Do you want him to be your president? Red Feather says, I did shrooms a couple of times. One time I laughed for hours about oatmeal cream pies. All right. I can't see Joe Biden as a president. I really can't. Sniffy Uncle Joe? Yeah. So, I mean, come on. Formaldehyde is what he's going to be drinking if he gets into office, just to keep him stiff enough to actually stand up and give the presidential addresses. Biden said that his substance abuse problems played a factor in his failed marriage that ended in divorce in 2017, after 23 years. He had 3 children with his previous wife, Naomi, 25, Finnegan, 19, and Maisie, 18. Alright, see, he was absolutely on drugs when he named his last 2 children. Finnegan, unless he's actually Irish or Scottish, well, you're not going to get away with much. And Maisie, dude, you were drunk when you signed that birth certificate. Admit it. What, Bloomberg actually put his name in the hat, in the goblet of fire finally? I mean, they might as well, at this point in time, the Democrats might as well kind of hold a Tri-Wizard tournament to see who's supposed to be the incumbent, because all of them fucking suck. I would take Voldemort at this point in time. Biden admitted to... Where was I? Nope. His drug problems also factored into his discharge from the Navy and his notable absence from the campaign trail with his father, because he's a deadbeat. He traced his drug use back to the 90s when he drank and occasionally used cocaine while attending Georgetown University. From there, upon doing blackface with Justin Trudeau, he made several attempts to sober up in the early 2000s, culminating in a stint in rehab in 2003. He stayed sober for 7 years until he relapsed in 2010. Biden admitted to using crack as late as fall of 2016. Biden said he bought the drugs off of sellers working out of a homeless camp in Los Angeles, California. More shit to do with California. Wait, I'm sorry, what? Bloomberg did put his name in, and then he believes that raising taxes on the poor and middle class will help them. That's like a bank charging you late fees and overdraft fees when you have no money in the account. I mean, Bank of America is like, hey, you didn't have any money to pay for that gas, so I know you like overdraft charges, so I'm going to give you an overdraft charge for the overdraft charge that you got because of the overdraft charge. That's fucking ridiculous. Alright, I will admit this. Rich people, and I'm talking about people like Bloomberg, and even Trump for that matter, because he is fucking rich as well. All of these higher echelon people, the 1%, are completely out of touch with fucking reality. They really are. Especially the Dems. The Dems are like, we're just going to tax everybody, and it's going to pay for everything, and everybody's going to be helpful. No. By taking money out of the pockets of the people who are making it, you're actually pissing them off. Like the $15 an hour minimum wage. That's a bad idea. How's it going, Cinder Shadow? What happens when, especially in California, for those of you who are still in California, when they do raise minimum wage, what ends up happening? Well, since I used to live there, I can tell you. For about 2 months, you are actually doing better than you thought you were. Money is a little bit easier to deal with. And then after 2 months, when the market catches up to the increased profits that everyone is getting, things become more fucking expensive. And that's what's going to happen. You tax everybody, things are still going to be as expensive as they are, and now people are making less. That's not how you run a good government. That's not how you run a good country. That's how you piss people off and make them want to stab you in the face with a fork. Not that I condone actions like that. What you really need to do is you need to use the ultimate cooking utensil, which is actually a spork. You see, the spork, after you're done stabbing them with it, because it is rather sharp, you can then break it and throw it away in 2 different places and they can't find you. Biden is currently married to Melissa Cohen, a 32-year-old South African filmmaker. Biden met Cohen in May and proposed to her a week later. Jesus Christ. Between marriages, Biden was romantically involved with his brother's widow, Haley Biden. Hunter's brother, Beau, died in May 2015 after battling brain cancer. That's a good way to remember your brother. Fuck his wife. I don't even know how that conversation happened. I know you're feeling bad because my brother died, and I'm sure you're feeling lonely. I'm lonely. Maybe if you let me bang you, you can imagine that I'm him, and we can get this over with. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm going from insanity to insanity here. I don't understand how these people do anything 2 times in a row. I really don't. But it is what it is, right? So, alright. I've been talking about California in the last couple things, but let's get to... Alright. We're going to stop talking about funny insanity, and now we're just going to talk about, well, complete and utter idiocy. How's that? Complete and utter idiocy is what we're talking about in California. California Democrats author a bill to protect sex offenders who lure minors. I'm going to read that again because it needs to sink in. California Democrats author a bill to protect sex offenders who lure in minors. Does anybody else have a fucking problem with this? I know I'm jumping from kind of ha-ha, this is funny insanity. Oh, look, Hunter Biden had sex with his sister-in-law. To this. But honestly, what the fuck? California. So, no sex offender registry if perpetrator within 10 years of age of the minor. Okay. So, they consider minors all the way up to the age of 16 in most places. So that means at most 10 years from 16 is 26. There should be no reason a 26-year-old is having anything to do with a 16-year-old. So let's look at the worst possible portion of this. 18. You are legally an adult. If you fuck around with an 8-year-old, hey, you're not gonna be put on the sex registry. I think it's rather important that if you're 18 and you're fooling around with an 8-year-old, you need to be on the sex registry. Now, I haven't even touched on this article yet, but we can already see the problem with what's going on here. And yes, I've seen the things that's going on with Onision and things like that. So, let's give them, aside from California being the public poop capital of the world, aside from them having the highest gas taxes and the highest state tax of anything in the union, aside from them basically making it okay to spread AIDS without telling their partners, besides them saying it's okay to steal because the police aren't going to do anything about it, and aside from them bringing back the bubonic plague and polio in their homeless population, let's give them the benefit of the doubt. Just a little bit. And let's read and see if there's actually something in this that isn't shotgun worthy. Or cannon worthy. And by cannon, I mean putting them in a cannon and shooting them into a cinder block wall. So let's give them something before we decide that California needs to be broken off of the United States and pushed off into the ocean to be swallowed by the megalodon. State Senator Scott Wiener, there's your problem right there, and Assemblywoman Susan Eggman. Her last name is Eggman. Can someone who is going to be wanting to be a senator or congressman in California, can they go up against Assemblywoman Eggman with the last name Sonic? Even Knuckles. I mean, come on. There's wasted opportunity here. Introduced recent legislation to end blatant discrimination against LGBT young people regarding California's sex offender registry. Okay. Okay. Blatant discrimination against LGBT youth regarding the sex offender registry. All right. However, under their bill, SB 145, the offenders would not have to automatically register as sex offenders if the offenders are within 10 years of age of the minor. There are already laws like this. Not 10 years. 10 years is a big fucking gap. But there are laws that are, it's the Romeo and Juliet laws, and it deals within, I think, 3 years. So if you're 21 and or if you're 20 and you're dating a 17-year-old, or you're 18 and you're dating a 15-year-old kind of thing, there's Romeo and Juliet laws that actually protect people. Because 3 years is, mentality-wise, 3 years is not that big of a difference comparatively to like a female 15-year-old and a male 18-year-old. It could be 5 years. I don't know. I know 3 is a good number to kind of go by. But we're talking about 10 fucking years, which I've already pointed out by the beginning of this. That could be an 18-year-old sexually assaulting an 8-year-old. That's a problem. The mental maturity there is not about the same. And that's why the Romeo and Juliet laws are there. Existing law, the Sex Offender Registration Act, amended by Proposition 35 by voters in 2012, ban on human trafficking and sex slavery, requires a person convicted of a certain sex crime to register with the law enforcement as a sex offender while residing in California or while attending school or working in California. Wiener says, currently, for consensual yet illegal sexual relations between a teenager age 15 and over and a partner within 10 years of age, sexual intercourse, i.e. vaginal intercourse, notice it doesn't talk anything about anal intercourse, does not require the offender to go onto the sex offender registry. Rather, the judge decides based on the facts of the case whether sex offender registration is warranted or unwarranted, meaning if this is consensual or if it's rape. And that's depending on... and I'm not talking about rape. I'm talking about statutory rape, where the minor who is of consenting age is still a minor. The parents can then press charges. By contrast, for other forms of intercourse, specifically oral and anal intercourse, sex offender registration is mandated under all situations with no judicial discretion. Yeah, that's kind of what it sounds like. This is ridiculous. Now, I understand what they're saying, because it does say that anal intercourse and oral intercourse don't ever have a chance to be mandated or judged by a judge. It's always considered illegal. So I can see why they want to change the wording. But changing the wording doesn't necessarily mean changing the age. This bill would authorize a person convicted of certain offenses involving minors to seek discretionary relief from the duty to register if the person is not more than 10 years older than the minor. Proposition 35 was created and passed to protect children from sexual exploitation and sex trafficking. Victims of sex trafficking are often vulnerable children, afraid for their lives and abused, sexually, physically, and mentally, the proposition said. So why are we trying to change this? All right, so there's not much on this, but we'll go a little bit deeper here. What does SB 145 also do? Legislators Wiener and Eggman say that they are trying to shield LGBT young people from having to automatically register as a sex offender for specified sex crimes, but their bill does much more. So, so how is it protecting them? Well, as it's stated above, if it's vaginal intercourse, they have a chance to talk to a judge, and that judge can then determine if it's consensual, if it's registered, if they need to register as a sex offender, if it's non-consensual kind of thing. What they want to change is where it says that oral and anal intercourse are never considered consensual. It's always they're never able to see a judge about it. They want to just, if you have anal intercourse with a girl who likes anal and they're underage and stuff like that, you automatically have to register as a sex offender. That's what they want to change. At least that's how it would protect them. Because two gay men are not going to be able to just... The only thing they can have is oral and anal intercourse. Two lesbians who one's a younger person, like the Romeo and Juliet laws, well, they can usually... I mean, oral intercourse is what they'd be caught on. Things like that. So let's see. SB 145 would allow a sex offender who lures a minor with the intent to commit a felony, i.e. a sex act, the ability to escape registering as a sex offender as long as the offender is within 10 years of age of the minor. No specification is made as to whether the sexual offender is straight or LGBT. That's the problem. That's where everyone has the problem. This right here. So what else? What do you call luring? Well, that's grooming. Right? If you groom a minor to then lure them across state lines to have sex with you, well, now you don't have to register as a sex offender because you're within 10 years of their age. Regardless of the fact that you're going to fuck the child up or the young person up, as long as you're within 10 years, nothing you have to worry about. You don't have to... You'll probably still get... It's not saying that they're going to get away. It's not saying that they wouldn't be arrested. But it is saying that they wouldn't have to register as a sex offender. SB 145 adds a section to the state's penal code, section 290.55, stipulating that as long as the offender is not more than 10 years older than the minor, they are not automatically mandated to register as a sex offender. There is no age limit or range specified except for existing law, which already excludes lewd acts with children under 14. Yeah, 10 years. In between 10 years. They don't care about MS-13. Remember, Trump came out and said that, MS-13 is a bunch of wild dogs, wild animals, and everybody took that as, oh God, Trump is saying that about all Mexicans. They don't care. They don't care if it's a violent game. They just care that it's someone with the right skin color that they can then stand up for. Racists. SB 145 appears to allow adults to victimize minors by luring them with the intent to have sex, and then shields the predator from being automatically registered as a sex offender, as in the case of a 25-year-old luring a 15-year-old for sex, or a 22-year-old luring a 12-year-old. Now, we already talked about the extremes. They kind of got low, but they didn't go low enough. Because we're talking about this change in the law means that an 18-year-old who rapes an 8-year-old does not have to register as a sex offender. SB 145, as currently written, appears to allow certain sexual predators to live among the population without anyone being aware. Why is this still needed? You know what? I don't think anyone like that should... Look, there are certain crimes that you can commit that I believe, and this is just my thoughts, that I believe you can become a functioning member of society. Like a crime of passion, a murder. It's not a serial murder, it's just one. You stab your wife or you stab your husband in the heat of the moment because you found them cheating on you. Whatever it is. I believe that person can be rehabilitated into a functioning member of society. These sick fucks, on the other hand, I do not believe at all that they can become a functioning member of society. I do not believe that they deserve to be around normal people. And you know what? I can even go so far as to say rapists who rape adults with a lot of therapy and chemical castration can become a functioning member of society. They don't have the physical urges anymore. They don't have the ability to do them anymore. They have therapy. Give them a chance. Child fuckers, on the other hand, need to be castrated and thrown into the sea. And that's the nicest thing I could say that could possibly happen to them. I don't think you guys want me to read the text of Bill SB 145. They've pretty much given us an overall of what it does. So I don't know what California is doing. I really don't. California, you done fucking up. You are becoming a blight on America. Do you understand that? And I'm talking to the Californian people as a whole. Mainly the ones that are in the higher-ups, the Democrats that are there that are basically saying, yeah, all of this is fine. As long as there's diversity and there's representation, then of course this is okay. Let's have as many homeless people in our state as possible. Let's bring back diseases that have been dead for thousands of years. Let's go ahead and make the people who live here hate themselves. California, what the fuck is wrong with you? Look, California has wanted to separate and become their own country for a long time. I say it's about damn time we let them. Let's let them become their own country, because then they have to come up with their own version of money. They have to come up with their own defenses. They have to come up with their own military. They have to come up with their own everything. And we can just let them die. And then when all of them die out because they want to become a socialist fucking utopia, we can just steamroll them and take back over. Because they're going to be too weak and sickly for them to actually do anything. I want the big one to hit. San Andreas Fault, please open up. Take out Southern California, Central California, and Northern California. Because I'm sorry, if you haven't decided to move out of that godforsaken fucking hellhole, it's about time. Move to Texas. Move to Arizona. Move to Portlandia. Move to wherever you want to get the fuck away from these people. And then let the Dems have it. Let them create their own little fucking nation so we can let them do their own thing where they flounder, turn it socialist, and we can just fucking kill them. I'm sorry, Ray. I remember you're still there. Ray's hint taken. It's not that I'm trying to hammer it home, my friend. I'm trying to tell you, you need to go. Please, if you have family there, convince them to get the fuck out. Alright? It's too dangerous for normal society. And speaking of representation and things like that, I have something interesting to talk about, but I will be right back, folks. I have to use the restroom. I will return, and then we will talk about some movie news. I know you guys are interested in movies. I talked about Frozen last week. This time I have something better, so give me just a second. Alright, I have returned. Callie has STDs, probably AIDS. I can guarantee that since they already allow it to where you can infect someone with the HIV virus. And, it's no longer a felony. You can willingly infect them without their knowledge, and it's not a felony. It's a slap on the wrist. But then again, you can go and steal whatever the fuck you want. So, alright, I'm back. Let's talk about some representation, diversity, and movie news. This is gonna be good. Now, Queen and Slim retells the Bonnie and Clyde myth as a story about blackness in America. Now, for those of you who don't know, I'm able to talk about this movie because I actually am part black. I am black from the waist down. So, I can give my perspective on this. Now, I have an instantaneous problem with this headline, and I want to see if you guys can actually pick it out. What is the problem with this headline? Yes, of course, it's from Vox. Vin, do you know what the problem with this headline is? Za, Zeogold, Cuttlefish, Red Feather, if you're still there? I'm only half Shadow Smurf. It's from the waist down, like I said. So, if you guys can figure this out, I'll give you guys a second to figure it out. Za, that's a good choice. No. Vin, no. Cuttlefish, no. There's a simple way of getting around that by saying it's a retelling. I came back to instantaneous problem. It has nothing to do with them being black. Look, I understand this is from the bad portion of Vox, not the good Vox. It's there we go. Damn Alien said it right there. It is not a myth. Bonnie and Clyde were real white Americans. Aside from the fact that they were psychopathic and sociopathic and had two other people with them, they went on a crime spree of murder and mayhem. Now, there is folklore behind them, but they are based on... Bonnie and Clyde were real people. No, Bonnie and Clyde weren't black. It is not a myth of Bonnie and Clyde. It's the history of Bonnie and Clyde. Now, you can say that you are... You can say that you're retelling Bonnie and Clyde a different way. Thelma and Louise did that. Okay? It was the feminist version of Bonnie and Clyde. That's very true, Ray. Very true. But... that's why I don't have a problem with them being black. If you want to retell it, that's fine. I don't care that they're black. I have a problem with Vox misrepresenting that Bonnie and Clyde were myths, that that it was a mythos of it. I hope they have the Twitter. I don't have the Twitter thing that they said, but all right, let's go through this. Queen and Slim, starring Daniel Kaluuya and Jodie Smith-Turner in a tale of young lovers on the run, invites comparisons to the story of Bonnie and Clyde from The Drop, which when I first saw the trailer in the theaters, yeah, I was like, this is black Bonnie and Clyde. It's the tale, sometimes bloody, of two doomed young lovers on the run from the law, a familiar American archetype, and if you're in certain parts of the country, it's also a family American archetype. But if Queen and Slim is consciously playing with that story, it's also subverting it. No, it's not. It's not going to. It's going to be the exact same thing. And before I see the movie, I'm going to tell you exactly what's going to happen. Number one, it's going to have a narrative about dirty cops. Number two, it's going to have a narrative about anti-white people, anti-whiteness. Number three, it's going to have a narrative that snitches get stitches. Number four, it's going to basically celebrate that they killed a white cop. And it's going to be basically, they've become black heroes. I'm betting those four things. No, Red Feather, Natural Born Killers was kind of based off of Bonnie and Clyde, but close. Yes, more anti-honkites. Alright, so let's get a little bit further in on this. The real-life Bonnie Parker and Clyde Barrow were thieves and criminals who captured national attention in the early 1930s, the press telling breathless and sometimes souped-up stories of their swaggering exploits. They died in an ambush on May 23, 1934, at the ages of 23 and 25, in a hail of gunfire that basically made it look like these bitches are going to be dead whether they want to be or not. The cops that hunted them down wanted these motherfuckers gone, respectively, and their deaths became the seeds of a legend. They became the seeds of a legend because of how far they got away with it. It's the same thing like John Dillinger. John Dillinger became a really well-known name because the police could not catch him. So yes, we do get legends from things that people do bad things. Yeah, the media does it to every mass killer. They idolize them. Cuttlefish is right. You know, it's exactly what happened. It was a story that was going around the 1920s or the 1930s that people wanted to hear about. And exactly, snippet, people weren't really fond of Banks in the 30s. The story has been retold on screen and in song many times since then, and always with an edge of revolt. Prominent directors have taken a crack at it, remixing the facts to tell their own tale. Nicholas Ray's They Live by Night, Arthur Penn's Bonnie and Clyde, which is a really good one if you want to see a pretty good telling of their tale. Terrence Malick's Badlands, Robert Altman's Thieves Like Us, Ridley Scott's Thelma and Louise, Oliver Stone's Natural Born Killers, from a screenplay by Quentin Tarantino, Kelly Richards' River of Grass, and David Lowery's Ain't Them Body Saints in 2013, all trace their origins back to Bonnie and Clyde. That's not a comprehensive list, because it never is, because there's a lot. We're talking about indie films and projects and things like that always, books, songs, which would probably be impossible to compile, but they're the most notable adaptations. And another trait these films share in common is that this glamorous, murderous American duo, no matter how much the details change in every retelling, has long been lodged into our national imagination as being white. That's because they are white. That's the problem I have with this. Yes, they are white because they have been white. Now, do I have a problem with them being black? Not necessarily, but when you have narratives like this coming out and saying, well, there's a possibility that they weren't. No, these are real people. There is real history behind this. They were really white. That's what I have a problem with this. I don't care if these fucks reimagine them as purple polka-dotted aliens. It's Bonnie and Clyde. It's a story. How long before people grow fond of left-wing fanatics getting their butts handed to them? Well, pretty much we do. And that's the problem. We like seeing it happen. Instead of trying to stop it from happening, we like to just see it happen. We like to see them fail. Let's see. Hollywood tells very different stories about being black, armed, and pursued by police. See, this is where I'm getting at. Which isn't to say that this hasn't been told as a black story before, maybe most famously by Jay-Z and Beyonce in '03 Bonnie and Clyde, which became the highest charting song about the pair. It's a song about glamour and young love, with Jay-Z rapping through the verse, put us together, how they gonna stop both of us, and then trading lines with his then girlfriend Beyonce on the chorus. All I need is this life of sin is me and my girlfriend, down to ride till the very end is me and my boyfriend. Oh, that's cute. And it wasn't the first time Jay-Z had rapped about Bonnie and Clyde, because they're very popular figures. The story is very popular, just like Romeo and Juliet is very popular. It doesn't mean it's good. It doesn't mean the reality of the situation of what it was is good. Let's examine this for a second here. Romeo and Juliet is about a 16-year-old and a 13-year-old who die at the end of it. I mean, they're so absorbed in their own lust for each other that they don't give a shit about the rest of anything else and die. Well, Bonnie and Clyde is about two psychopathic killers who have a vendetta against the banks and go ahead on a shooting spree to the point where they get put into... Well, they get shot into the afterlife by about, 500 bullets. Java washing? Alright, but Queen and Slim is nothing like either of those versions, though it was directed by Melina Matso... I'm not saying that last name. Who, until now, may be best known for directing Beyonce's Formation video, with a screenplay by the Cheese, Lena Waithe. This version of Bonnie and Clyde tale stars Daniel and Jody as two Clevelanders who meet at a dinner for a Tinder date and don't particularly hit it off. But on the way home, they get pulled over, and the police officer, who, it later turns out, had shot a black man several years ago in a similar circumstance, ends up getting shot by accident instead. The pair panic and take off together, virtual strangers forced into a familiar framework. And of course, there's going to be a love story that happens. They find out that they really do like each other, that they want to spend the rest of their lives together, and he wants her to be his queen. It's all fucking pandering! Penn's 1967 Bonnie and Clyde, which starred Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty as the pair in a sexy, sometimes shockingly violent romance, became a rallying cry for disaffected countercultural youth. But in that film and others, Bonnie and Clyde court and enjoy the notoriety that media attention brings them. They're the symbols of alluring danger and youthful rebellion. The reason why they enjoyed it is because Bonnie and Clyde were sociopaths and narcissists. They loved the fact that people were talking about them. It didn't matter what they were talking about them for, it's that they were in the media. They were in the stories. People were talking about them. Here we go. Here's how it subverts it. Not so much for Queen and Slim. They don't want to be the face of anything, yet they live in a tinderbox America, ready to flame. As their faces begin to appear on the news as the subjects of a nationwide manhunt, they become the symbol of something much different than other Bonnie and Clydes. They become a symbol to black Americans that they can kill cops and get away with it as long as they get the help from their neighborhoods, from their community. As long as they get people that are willing to lie, cheat, and steal for them to keep them safe, they will become heroes. That's the difference. That's the subversion that we're talking about. That the difference is instead of being sociopaths, instead of being psychopaths that are just robbing and stealing and killing, these two don't want the spotlight. Thus, the people around them are going to protect them because they are the black saviors of a beaten and broken community. Damn the white man for putting them in this situation. The cops won't understand. People won't understand. It comes out that this cop kind of killed someone in the exact same way. Well, you still killed someone, so even if you got manslaughter, you're not convicted as murder. You still killed someone. There are still penalties for that. They're not icons of a generational revolt. They're the face of frustration with police violence. Police violence, the thing that's on the decline. Police violence. In a world where having to shoot in self-defense will never suffice as an explanation. At least not if you're black. Because every single person who is black in this country, who has fought in self-defense, who has protected their home in self-defense with a weapon, is in prison. You know, there's not a single fucking case of a black person winning a self-defense case. At all. In the history of this country. It just doesn't happen. More of this victim culture bullshit. Police didn't go after Bonnie and Clyde? Are you fucking kidding me? Not only were state police going after them, federal police were going after them, you had the FBI going after them, you had everybody and their goddamn mother going after them. And like I said, when they killed Bonnie and Clyde, they shot so many bullets into the goddamn car, it wouldn't have mattered if they survived. Because there would be no possible way it could happen. They weren't trying to stop them, to arrest them. They were trying to kill them. But because police violence against innocent black people, you know, like the black person that robbed the store and then got shot by the clerk, that innocent black person that his sister said was innocent while he was trying to rob the store. Or, you know, any of the other... I don't even remember their goddamn names because they were all stupid. The idiot who started Hands Up, Don't Shoot, who fucking lied about that shit. You know, he was twice the size of the cop, did not stop when he was asked to be stopped, did not put his hands behind his back, continued to struggle, tried to grab the cop's gun. But, you know, the cops are the ones at fault for shooting the black man. I don't care if you're white, I don't care if you're black, I don't care if you're brown, I don't care if you're yellow, I don't care if you're midnight colored, I don't care if you're as pure as the white driven snow. If you are doing something illegal, if you are doing something that causes the police to draw down on you, your best bet, the thing you should do instantly, yes, the Dollar General guy, thank you, Red Feather, the thing that you should do instantly is stop whatever the fuck you're doing. It is about respect. It is about respect for authority and understanding that the cops have authority over you. I don't care how hard you are with your boys in your neighborhood. The fact that the cop has the gun and you were caught doing something illegal, it usually means you gotta fucking stop. Now, am I saying all cops are innocent? No. But the amount of bad apples that are in the cops, in the cops of this country, is minor. Okay? I see more about good cops than I do bad. But the bad ones are the ones that are put front and center. Why? So we can get movies like this. Michael Brown, thank you. Thank you, Red Feather. Alright, so here we go. Here we get to the plot. The plot of this amazing video. And so they become a symbol for the watching a nation of triumphing over trauma, even as they don't feel particularly triumphant. Waith told Entertainment Weekly that the film is a rebel cry. But it's also about the trauma she feels watching the news. I think when people hear about black people being killed by cops, they know that it's sad. They know that it's not right. But as a black person, there's no one there to hold my hand. There's no one there to rub my back and tell me that I'm okay. That we're going to be okay. Waith, if you ever watch this, I want to say something to you, and I want you to pay really close attention to this. That's the same for every other person out there, too. To see a white person get killed, well, there's no one here to rub my back and tell me it's going to be okay. For our Mexican neighbors, when they see a Mexican person get shot and killed for doing something wrong, they don't get someone to rub their back and tell them it's going to be okay. Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why no one is going to be there and tell you it's going to be okay? Because no one fucking actually cares. God damn it, Ishtar. Ishtar, you're ruining this. How dare you? I am trying to make a point. My point is that you don't know every black person that's ever been shot. So it doesn't matter if you get your back rubbed or not, or someone telling you it's going to be okay. You weren't the one shot, so you're going to be fucking fine. It doesn't matter. Stop virtue signaling. Stop making it seem like you are the most oppressed person out there and that you are the most emotionally sensitive person and you are empathic to everything, because we know it's not true. You're only empathic to the plight of black people. And if you can put it out there that all white people are bad, well, I'm sorry, not all black people are bad. If you want to put it out there that all white people are bad, then you'll do it. Victim points are going to get you an Oscar. Although, this is probably going to bomb. This movie is probably going to bomb, just like Charlie's Angels. And it's going to be blamed on white Americans. Mark my words. If this movie is not a blockbuster, if this movie doesn't make back at least what it needs to make back to be even, it's going to be blamed on white people. They don't want to see the triumphant black person. They don't want to see the triumphant black American hero fighting against the industry, fighting against their oppression, fighting against the police. It's all garbage. There we go. They're going to tell us how it's subversive. It's a subversive and powerful way to retell the Bonnie and Clyde myth for a new era. Except Bonnie and Clyde wasn't a myth, it was factual. But also to re-examine what that myth has meant. Something that Thelma and Louise feminist retelling did as well. Except Thelma and Louise was good. I'm not saying that this is going to be bad outright. Okay? I'm not saying that this isn't going to succeed. But there's a really good chance that this is going to be pandering. It's going to be seen as pandering. And it's not going to make a dent. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be bad. It's just going to be shit. It was possible to shade the story of a gun-toting white couple on the run from the law as glamorous and electric, a symbol of freedom and rebellion to the open road. But in the American imagination, the pair has always has to be white, even if all the other details were fictionalized. That's because Americans, and I'm sorry, that does include African Americans, Mexican Americans, Arab Americans, everyone who has a citizenship here. That's because the American imagination knows for a fact, historically, Bonnie and Clyde were a white couple. To make them black would be to imbue the story with some other element, some fear that white America has chosen to tell in very different sorts of movies. Queen and Slim turns that on its head without getting too explicit about what it's doing. I'm sure it does. I'm sure it's not going to be race baiting at all. I'm sure it's not going to be pounding white man bad over your fucking head. It's still at the core a moving, doomed love story, but about two real people stuck in an unfamiliar situation they can't escape. It's a Bonnie and Clyde tale worth telling today. No, it's not. Not just for how it calls back to our past, but how it dwells with our uncomfortable present. Why are they bitching about not being represented in a criminal movie? Because Bonnie and Clyde is popular. Somewhere. I'm sure there's There's Bonnie and Clyde fan clubs. Fuck, I don't know. Now, it said Queen and Slim opened up on the 27th. Let's do a quick search, shall we? Fuck you, Forbes. Box Office Mojo. There we go. Alright. Here are the numbers so far. Queen and Slim. They have made $11 million. That's not bad. That's not great. It's actually kind of horrible. It's only $3 million more than Charlie's Angels. But it's only been released for 4 days. So yeah, it looks like right now, to date, it has made $15 million. So, in essence, this movie's a flop. This movie is a bomb. It's barely going to make its budget back. We don't know how it's going to do in... we don't know how it's going to do over internationally. So there's a really good chance we're about to start seeing some articles about how Queen and Slim couldn't succeed because those damn white moviegoers. Regardless of the fact that it was a bunch of black girls who decided to, fuck up a Frozen 2 opening last weekend. But, it's always about them bad white folks. Alright, so... Yes, Business Insider, I am using ad blocker. Because I don't like your ads. But for you guys, I will do this. So, alright. I talk about a lot of crazy left-wing shit, right? Yeah, it's still a flop. I talk about a lot of crazy left-wing shit, so let's talk about some crazy right-wing shit. Because there's craziness on both sides. I'm not going to be one that, favors one over the other. Yes, I'm a conservative. I will point out the stupidity of my own party. And this is one of those things. Because it's fucking stupid. A Pennsylvania bill would require death certificates for fertilized eggs that never implanted in a uterus. Why? Why does a dead fertilized egg need a death certificate? No, it's not a Florida man story. This is just idiocy. So, I don't want to just do the bullet points, so here we go. Anti-abortion lawmakers... Yeah, it's a corporate giveaway to Tampax and Always. Ray, that's bad. Anti-abortion lawmakers in Pennsylvania want to pass a bill that would require health providers to arrange burials or cremations of all persons' fetal remains, which under the lawmakers' terms includes fertilized eggs that never implanted in the uterus. What? Fucking what? You can't even... You have to use a microscope to see this shit? Look, here's how you do a cremation for fertilized eggs. You take the petri dish, you hold it over a Bunsen burner, and you turn it over. You have now cremated Or at least you hope you have, because you can't see it through the naked eye. You have now cremated the fertilized egg. Are you fucking kidding me? But fertilized eggs must divide to become the ball of cells that implants in the uterus for a pregnancy to occur. The proposed bill also means health providers would have to obtain death certificates for all fertilized but not implanted eggs, since in order to obtain a burial permit, you first have to obtain a death certificate. Christine Castro, a staff attorney at the Pennsylvania-based Women's Law Project, told Vice, the bill is written in a misleading way. I don't know if Young Turks did a video on this, but goddamn. Yeah, I talk about the left smelling their own farts and huffing their own farts enough. This is definitely a case of the right just locking themselves in a room and hotboxing the shit out of their own odorific, bleached assholes. If the bill, known as Pennsylvania Final Disposition of Fetal Remains Act, they need to get a better name for that shit, passes and is followed, it could result in a $50 to $300 fine for up to 30 days in prison for providers. I can see it as a way of disincentivizing abortions, but it's still ridiculous. And if this passes, I just hang my head in shame for the conservatives who thought that this was a good fucking idea. The problem is women, and even their doctors, can't track when or how many fertilized eggs don't implant in the uterus because those eggs typically dissolve in utero and are shed through a woman's menstrual lining every month, making them undetectable. Did you hear that, ladies? You and your amazing wombs are at fault for killing hundreds of fertilized eggs. Do you know how much money you now owe the government for that? Because you did not bury them, you did not bleed them out that month into your tampons, into your pads, and then bury those with a death certificate or cremate them. This is fucked up. Having an abortion shrine is pretty fucked up too. I don't think it's necessarily a shrine to having abortions. I believe it's a shrine to the babies that were not born, kind of like the unborn. But come on, they're blaming women. The problem is women and their doctors. Yeah, this is some Bible thumping shit. It's common for fertilized eggs to not implant in the uterus because those are called miscarriages and things like that. So yeah, it does happen. According to University of California, San Francisco Health, only half of a woman's fertilized eggs will naturally implant in her uterus. The other 50% of those fertilized eggs that don't implant dissolve into the body and are expelled through a woman's uterine lining, which she naturally sheds during her menstrual cycle. According to University of Wisconsin-Madison School of Medicine and Public Health, newly fertilized eggs are about the size of a pinhead, according to the National Institute of Health. So, are we gonna? Do we just keep them all in a shoebox? And if we put them all in a shoebox and then we bury the shoebox, would that be considered a mass grave? Like, I'm trying to find out the logistics here, and the logistics of this is ridiculous. It's pretty fucking stupid. Like, the only time a fertilized egg that hasn't implanted in the uterus is detectable is if a woman has an ectopic pregnancy, which occurs when a fertilized egg attaches itself outside of the uterus where it can't grow. In this case, the egg is detectable but must be surgically removed from the woman's body immediately to prevent health complications like ruptured fallopian tubes, and death! Is there more? There's more! Jesus Christ. I don't want to read all this. This is fucking stupid. Look, Okay. I agree that abortion laws need to be limited. I also agree that there are certain things that women need to be taught in high school. There are certain things that need to be taught to men in high school too. And that is sexual health. Abstinence-only teaching does not work. It hasn't worked. The Christian faith has shown that it doesn't work. The Catholic faith has shown it doesn't work. The Jewish faith shows it doesn't work. Abstinence-only teaching is bullshit. But charging a woman who, let's face it, they're talking about in vitro fertilization. They're talking about something that is fucking expensive already. They then want the women to pay a fine if their pinhead-sized eggs don't become babies. What? What kind of stupid bullshit is this? I mean, honestly, come on. Parents just need to put the fear of their foot up their child's ass. There's a lot of stuff that needs to happen with the upcoming generation. Promoting them to say sex is free, the free love stuff. That needs to be pulled back. Because there has to be a responsibility with sex. And if you can't handle the responsibility of sex and something coming from sex, then you shouldn't be having sex. I feel like I talk about sex a lot on this show. I don't mean to, but that's a lot of the fucking ridiculous stuff that comes across my dashboard. But I also let's get back to weird. Let's get back to people are just fucking weird. Right? We got a little ragey. We got a little pissed off at California. Again, I need to come up with a segment that's like, what's fucked up in California today? Or this week. Get music for it and everything. Have a little thing that goes across. Change of scenery. Do something like that. I don't know. Maybe I should just come up with a list of all the fucked up things that are happening in California and just have it continually play as... and then when something new happens, we just add another one on there. But, well, today in What in the Fuckville, thank you, Cuttlefish. These vegans really believe animal crackers are problematic. That headline is a real headline. It's also from Vice, so take that with a grain of salt. But animal crackers, which are just fucking cookies that you give little kids to have in their lunch, animal crackers are problematic to vegans. What? Are you fucking... This is a real article. This is not an Onion article. This is not a joke. This is food. This is a food article from Vice. Plenty of otherwise animal-abstaining vegans enjoy biting into a gorilla now and then, savoring a crunchy loophole in an otherwise firm abstention from eating animals. That loophole is the animal cracker. Iconic, beloved by children of all ages, and conveniently, largely, a plant-based treat. Trader Joe's, Costco, and Whole Foods all sell their own brand of vegan animal crackers. Barbara's Snackimals and Stouffer's are likewise free of eggs and dairy. Nabisco, arguably the most well-known animal cracker variety, is not only vegan, but scored extra points with animal rights activists last month when it released its lions, tigers, and bears from their century-long cage captivity on the snack's packaging. That's right, drawn animals on a box in a cage are now free to roam the rest of the box in their imaginations. Let's just take a moment and just be proud of what we have accomplished by getting the animal crackers out of the cage. Cages linked the morsels with the circus industry, and in a letter, PETA, the most honorable of all animal euthanasia sites, urged Nabisco to update the snack's graphics, given the egregious cruelty inherent in circuses towards four-legged friends. So, real quick, Ishtar and I have kind of been starting to watch a lot of those try not to laugh things. And Ishtar will be the first one to tell you, she is a giggly bitch. The first one we watched, she started laughing within the first 5 seconds. Which is why we could never do a video about this, because she would lose instantly. In these animal things, there are kids at the zoo and things like that, and they're taking pictures in front of lions. Well, thank God for glass, because the kids are turned their back to the lions, and you see the lions look at the tiny little morsels of human with their backs turned, and then they lunge at the glass. These are not your four-legged friends. These are four-legged wild animals that would kill you if they had the chance. Think of that next time you take an animal cracker and don't want to bite the head off first. The company acquiesced, a visual tradition that began in 1902, came to a halt, and numerous headlines ensued. Regardless of Nabisco's rebranding, though, a certain crop of vegans still won't be purchasing animal crackers by the stringful. There's a school of vegan sociologists. God, they would be the most boring people to talk to in your life. Could you imagine being at a party with a vegan sociologist? Oh my God, shoot me now. Probably with long dreadlock fucking hair and nasty ass things on the ends of the dreads, smelling like patchouli oil and nasty ass toe feet. Blah, blah. And they're sitting there with their hummus, just putting it in your face, trying to tell you that it's a better lifestyle. You can just smell the skunk weed in their pocket. It's gross. That steer clear of all animal-shaped foods, no matter their ingredients. Bye-bye. Plant-based gummy worms, Easter bunnies, Swedish fish. Swedish fish are amazing, by the way. Goldfish crackers, bear-shaped vitamins, and bunnygrams. Out of concern that these could act as a gateway snack. Alright, hold up. Hold on. How? How is this? Please, I hope to God that this next paragraph explains it. Alright, I'm going to calm down. I'm going to take a drink. I'm going to calm down. We're going to have a dramatic reading of the next thing because it's from a sociologist. Alright. Here, let me pause the music real quick. We gotta get serious here, folks. We have to find out. We have to know absolutely certain how animal-shaped foods are a gateway snack to killing other animals. Hold on. Animal crackers have a clear, latent function to socialize children with ideologies of human dominance and reiterate that they have full access to the natural world and the subordinates who live in it. explains Corey Lee Wren, a lecturer in sociology at Monmouth University and author of A Rational Approach to Animal Rights. By being able to collect caged animals, pick them up, handle them, and eventually eat them, notions of human supremacy is underscored. That's a load of bullshit. Are you kidding me? Animal crackers teach small children that they are entitled to control the fates of other creatures. Wren and her vegan colleagues argue, while no animals are actually harmed during production of vegan versions of the crackers, their consumption becomes part of an ingrained attitude of superiority that could eventually lead to mistreatment. This is good music for the next part. This is good music. It can only be positive to desist from representing non-human animals as imprisoned by humans, says Matthew Cole, a sociology lecturer at the Open University in the United Kingdom. He says it's an open university, but he really wants it to be a monogamous university just for him. He doesn't understand why the university doesn't actually like him anymore. Doesn't understand why the university is dating the bigger, blacker universities. Of Nabisco's recent decision to remove animal cage imagery. But the phenomenon of animal crackers remains problematic and part of a wider culture of speciesism. This is a lesson these sociologists strongly urge, that we should stop feeding our youth or munching on ourselves. Children should be taught to respect other animals, adds David A. Niebert, a vegan activist and sociology professor of Wittenberg University. Eating their forms as crackers is just another step in the socialization process that accustoms children to exploitation. Sorry, got into a moment there. This is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever read. And I have read things like dinosaur fucking, okay? But if animal crackers encourage exploitation because of their recognizable shapes, should we be thinking twice about other foods? Where do photo cakes fit in? What does this say about people who eat gingerbread men? Human-shaped cookies and crackers, notes Wren, are usually generic forms. If they were designed to specifically resemble Jewish persons or African Americans, oh god, and were marketed to white children, we can perhaps recognize the ideological problem with animal crackers being marketed... Hold on a second, where am I? Being marketed to human children in an anthropocentric... They're just making up words now. They're not making real words. What the fuck? Anthropocentric society that engages in wide-scale systematic violence against animals. Oh god, I am so glad I'm finishing on this article. Yes, I know what anthropomorphic, but I don't know what word that they're fucking coming up with. Anthropocentric? That's a fake word. No, this is not Babylon Bee. This is Vice. This is Vice News. Let that sink in. Food for thought. Not really. But Wren's views glaze over the possibility that consuming a particular shape could be a sign of affection. I mean, men do eat fish a lot, so that would make sense. Every December, American children nibble on Santa Claus-shaped cookies, and it is fair to assume that they would not willingly harm a cherished idol who brings them toys and Yuletide joy. Consuming gingerbread people, and I have to say people because it's not actually men, we don't know what it identifies as, has not been linked with the desensitization process that promotes cannibalism or violence towards others. And many animal crackers could also be considered generic. Wait, so the person that is writing this dumbass Vice article is actually blowing the fuck out of all of the sociologists that were saying that eating animal crackers is going to cause other young children to start wanting to devour their cats and devour the dogs and the lions and the elephants and all of the animals that we don't actually eat. Well, Red Feather, if you make gingerbread animals, you are promoting for the people a human-based supremacy against other species. You would be considered a bigot, and PETA would probably try and cancel you. Likewise, eating gingerbread houses promotes, Karen Myers Barbuskia, a Philly-based vegan who doesn't have the same hang-ups about food shape. Oh fuck, I can't even finish. See, even other vegans call these particular idiots dumb. When you are getting vegans calling you out, you have gone one step too far. For the time being, the solid market presence of plant-based animal crackers and a literal trail of crumbs seem to indicate that most vegans have no qualms about eating animals of the cracker variety. Every product in our stores must sell well to earn its spot on our shelves, says Rachel Broderick of Trader Joe's Communications Representatives. Our organic animal crackers have been holding court in our cookie section for well over a decade. So that certainly says something. For instance, a lot more people actually want to eat dry, semi-sweet wafers than I realized. Guys, we have reached peak idiocy here on The Last Vox. At least for this week, until I come back next week with even more crazy fucking bullshit that you guys can send me through my link down below at helpfortheguildless at yahoo.com. I think it's yahoo.com. Let me take a look. Hold on. Where is it? Yeah, helpfortheguildless at yahoo.com. You can also contact me on Discord. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Gab. Hell, I even still have a Tumblr. I don't post there anymore, but it's there. Look, guys, if you find articles that you want me to cover that you think are absolutely ridiculous, please send them my way. I enjoy talking about them. I enjoy pointing out the stupid things. I will see you later, Red Feather. Have a good night, Cuttlefish. Wrapping up here. If you guys like what I do here, if you guys like this show, if you guys like MSNBC, if you like the random videos that I eventually put out, hit like, hit share, subscribe, spread me around to your friends, get those numbers up. I promise you, I will keep doing this as long as YouTube lets me, as long as it's fun for me. Alright, I love doing this for you guys. If you want to support the channel, you can become a member with the join button down below. You can become a patron, which I'm still working on doing tiers over again. You can buy merchandise, which there's a link down below as well. Or you can donate straight through PayPal and Streamlabs. My Discord link is down below. Let's see. I'm sure I can grab it real quick. Here. Bam! That's my Discord link. There's some new merchandise down below. There is a sale going on right now for Teespring. I think it's 35% off. It's 35% off everything site-wide. So you can get a Last Vox shirt. You can get something to support Cyber Demon Gaming. You can do whatever you want. Anything you guys do to help always is appreciated. I love you all. And remember, I am the last voice, the last Vox, and the last bastion of sanity for this little corner of the internet. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I will see you all next time. And I hope you all have a wonderful evening. Bye.